Hey everyone. So I figured I'd come up with a list of 5 horror movies that I just keep coming back to. They're not necessarily a list of my favorites. They're just ones I personally can find myself going to my shelf, and if I don't know what to watch, I'll grab one of them almost as comfort food. I've seen them and I can watch them over and over. With that, we'll just start right away with number 5. Number 5, Shining. Absolutely love The Shining, man. That's a once a year viewing for me. But man, this is the epitome of great slow burn horror. It's just so good, man. Jack Nicholson chews up the scenery. It starts off very innocent every time, and just the isolation and the dread. Jack Nicholson slowly going crazy. It's always entertaining and always a good time. Shelley Duvall sells her role as well. Danny is great. It's classic to me, and that's why it is definitely on this list of movies, horror movies that I just find myself going back to. And number 4, we have John Carpenter's Christine. Absolutely love Christine. It's like I said, it's not a list of my favorites. It's not my favorite John Carpenter movie, but it is definitely one that always pops out on the shelf if I just don't know what to watch. It's classic 80s popcorn horror at its finest. The soundtrack is great. The story is great. I mean, it's a haunted car. You know, when you first hear that, you're like, what? And then you watch the movie, you're like, this has no business being as good as it is. And it's great because Christine is, you see it and it's broken down and run down, and Arnie, the main character, he's a nerd and he's at the end of his rope, and Arnie finds Christine and Christine finds Arnie, and Christine is alive the whole time. The soundtrack is fantastic because the sounds coming out of Christine are, you just, the subtleties between the music is just so great. You can almost argue that for a horror movie that it's kind of a love story too, because Arnie falls in love with Christine the car, and Christine the car does fall in love with Arnie. How they almost become one by the end of the movie is great. It's not overly bloody, it's just fun horror, and it's such a great example of just 80s horror energy. So, no, with number 4, Christine. And now we're going to go to number 3, and number 3 for me is definitely my favorite in this franchise, Child's Play 2. Child's Play 2 to me takes everything that made Child's Play 1 great and it just amps it up. And I just absolutely love the dynamic of Andy dealing with trauma of not only losing his mom from the first movie via the hands of Chucky, but also just dealing with the trauma of Chucky and dealing with the trauma of being in a foster home. Just seeing that really pushes the first half. Kyle, the older foster kid that becomes like a surrogate older sister slash, kind of aunts, to Andy is great. Chucky is a dick in this one, and that's why a big reason why I love this movie. It's one of the first ones that I saw when I was younger. I think I saw the first one initially when I was a kid, but Child's Play 2 wasn't far behind. I think it's the best of the original trilogy, probably the best of the franchise. I think that the toy factory scene at the climax of this movie is so good. Great example of how a horror movie climax should be done, and the ending is fantastic. It's very memorable. Can't gush about Child's Play 2 enough. I've seen it so many times. And it's one that if I'm not going through the whole series, that's the usually the first one I go to just to watch by itself. So yeah, Child's Play 2. Number 2 is The Lost Boys. The Lost Boys, out of anything on this list, is definitely the least terrifying, definitely the least scary. It's such a good horror movie. It's one of the greatest, some people say the greatest vampire movie. It's got that teen horror energy that inspired so many other teen horror movies. Corey Feldman and Corey Haim are great in it. It's got that small town atmosphere like a Stephen King book or movie. I love this small town atmosphere of, any horror movie. It's just, I'm a sucker for it. What can I say? The vampires are awesome. The homages, I love the homages to Salem's Lot from The Lost Boys. The soundtrack is fire. It's so good. You wouldn't have other later, vampire movies without it, I don't think. You just wouldn't have a lot of those cool, edgy vampire movies without The Lost Boys. I don't know if it's my favorite vampire movie, but it's definitely the most rewatchable vampire movie to me. So yeah, the Lost Boys. Coming in at number one, this is easily my number one horror movie that I've gone back to in my life. It is the one that I have seen more than any other horror movie, I think, period. And it's one that I still, when I watch it, I have a good time, and that is Scream, man. I mean, again, this is not a list of my favorite horror movies. I'm not going to sit there and say Scream is my favorite horror movie, but man, the ability to go back and watch this movie year over year is so awesome because it's directed by Wes Craven, of course. It is definitely the gold standard of 90s horror movies. Anybody who's a horror fan knows that horror was not doing so good in the mid 90s, and Scream revitalized it. It's still going strong. Scream 7 just came out as far as a franchise. It was such a cultural impact as far as its legacy when it came out. The meta aspect of it is so great. Scream was so pivotal for me at a young age to want to check out other horror movies. I remember watching Scream and then getting done with watching Scream and wanting to go to the video rental store and wanting to rent all the movies that Randy listed. And a lot of them I ended up seeing. Ended up seeing Halloween because of Scream. I think I had already seen Freddy and Jason, but I give full credit to Scream for me getting into the Halloween franchise, for me getting into Prom Night, for me just really getting into horror movies. And for that, I owe Scream, I guess you could call it gratitude, if you will, but I owe it that. It's not my favorite horror movie ever, but it is easily the one that I've gone back to the most in my life. I've lost count of how many times I have seen it. So let me know what you guys think of my list of 5 horror movies that I can come back to and watch over and over. Leave a comment if you want. Let me know 5 horror movies that you go back to over and over. And if I haven't checked them out, maybe I'll try to go out of my way to watch them. But let me know what I think. I guess isn't the cliche thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And that's all I got. So with that, peace.